watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to talk about this Scarlett Johansson crap. How she's in some kind of lawsuit with Disney. Disney's kind of clapping back at her, and things are kind of getting a little bit ugly. Now I had to scour the internet a little bit to try to find. I know y'all see Fox Business up here, so automatically, y'all probably think I'm some Bush supporting Republican guy or whatever, but it's one of the better articles that I've seen. It's just kind of straightforward, and I think they rip a lot of stuff from the Wall Street Journal anyway, so whatever. Okay, well, let's get to it. A lawyer representing Walt Disney in its legal battle against actress Scarlett Johansson defended Disney's distribution of Black Widow and said Disney will seek to move the fight from the courts to arbitration. If arbitration is anything like baseball arbitration, in which the two sides kind of fight, kind of gets a little bit ugly, but the arbitrator there will decide whether or not Miss Johansson will get money or not. And it's kind of back, behind closed doors and all that kind of stuff. The lawsuit is manifestly wrong in every respect, said attorney Dan Petrosilli. There we go. Of Miss Johansson's recently filed lawsuit. She alleged her contract was breached when Disney last month released the movie Black Widow on its Disney Plus streaming service at the same time as its theatrical debut. Now, Miss Johansson's suit claims that Disney and Marvel guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release with her bonuses based on the movie's box office performance by making the movie available on Disney Plus. Her potential bonuses were greatly reduced, the suit said. Disney and Marvel, she alleged, were obligated to renegotiate her deal to compensate for the potential damage to the box office. Now, it's been 20 years since she did Lost in Translation, which, she was a cute little teenager back then. She is a outstandingly beautiful woman, as you can see. Everyone knows it. Very talented. So I'm not shitting on this lady at all. But it just seems to me, as far as what her lawsuit is based on, it's like, do you not know that COVID-19 has been a thing for over a year now? Now you have the Delta variant. You got all this shit going on, right? And the movie's been pushed back over a year because of it. So this has hurt box office all around. And by the way, the releasing this movie on Disney Plus, you still have to pay $30 for it. This isn't, Suicide Squad going straight to HBO Max, or the new Wonder Woman going straight to HBO Max for free. All you have to do is have a subscription, right? Mr. Petrelli countered in an interview Friday that her contract contained no such guarantees. Well, that's interesting. There are no limitations or constraints on the company's judgment on how to distribute Black Widow, Mr. Petroselli said. The contract explicitly gives the studio complete control and decision-making over distribution of the movie, he said. I don't know. So there you go. There's the argument. Two different ways of looking at it, right? The movie, the Disney can distribute the movie however they want, and the actress says, well, hold on, you can't just do it however you want because it affects my bonus. The terms of her contract call for a confidential arbitration proceeding to resolve any disputes, Mr. Petroselli also said. Miss Johansson's camp has privately said the arbitration clause doesn't apply in this case. Of course they do. It kind of hurts them. Her lawyer, John Berlinski, responded Friday that if Disney genuinely believed what its lawyers now claim, it would welcome having the dispute decided in open court instead of angling to hide its misconduct from the public in a confidential arbitration. Well, yeah, they don't want all this crap just flung out into public. All right, I don't blame Disney for that at all. Miss Johansson, it seems that she's trying to get the masses. This is the only reason you take things to the public. You're trying to get the public on your side. And you want to go to court because you feel that in open court, you can get things to swing your way more than an arbitration. Because the arbiter doesn't give a damn about personal feelings, doesn't give a damn what you think you're entitled to. They are by the law, and only the evidence of whatever's there is there. So if Miss Johansson's camp, if Miss Johansson herself, if her lawyers thought that they can actually get a fair amount of money in arbitration, they would do that. But, or I shouldn't even say a fair amount. If they felt they can get any money in arbitration, they would do that. But she's trying to get every last cent she can. A lot of times I would tend to agree with that, but I think this lawsuit in particular is full of shit. Senior Disney executives and Miss Johansson's representatives had been in discussions about her concerns before the suit filing. However, they couldn't find common ground. In other words, there was a number that she wanted, and there's a number that Disney's like, nah. We're not paying what you, we're going to have to meet in the middle, and apparently she doesn't want to meet in the middle. The demands they made were unreasonable, Mr. Petroselli said, declining to provide specifics. Well, of course he can't provide specifics. Those are going to be in either an arbitration or an open court. Miss Johansson's side has said Disney was unwilling to engage in serious negotiations. In other words, they were not unwilling to come up to anywhere near the number that they wanted or she wanted. Let's all keep this in mind. This isn't Disney saying, well, we're not going to pay you. All right. As they've already said, they've already paid her $20 million for the movie. Now the talk is about the bonus thing. And this is where her argument is going to fall completely to shit. And this is also why she's ungrateful. Okay. Disney did not have to make a Black Widow movie. This movie does not push the MCU forward in any way. All the reviews on the movie are either mediocre or bad. And I'm pretty sure in open court they would like to compare it to Miss Marvel, which made $1 billion. But Miss Marvel was leading in to an Avengers movie. Not just any Avengers movie. It is leading into Infinity War, which is the first of a 2-part gigantic Avengers freaking epic that was going to, tie together 10 years worth of cinema. What was it? 22, 23 movies? Insane, right? So that's why that movie there made all the money. Even though the reviews on Captain Marvel were about the same, either mediocre or bad. But it made a shit ton of money. And plus back then there was no COVID. They didn't have to push the movie back a year. It had everything going for it to make Captain Marvel highly successful. This movie has zero going for it. It has everything going against it. And look, I don't feel bad for Scarlett Johansson making $20 million. So you have to really ask yourself, why in the hell would Disney make a prequel? All right, that's, I'm sorry, it's kind of aiming not to be as popular as everything the last 10 years was. This is not a beloved character. This is Black Widow. We all like her, all right, but this isn't Iron Man, this isn't Spider-Man, this isn't Thor, this isn't the Guardians of the Galaxy, this isn't even Ant-Man. It's none of those people. This is a side character that's getting a big, huge movie, and in a large part, they're doing it as a make good for Miss Johansson because they feel, I don't know, that they owe her something for, hey, almost 10 years of loyal service. I guarantee you she's been paid out the ass. All these people have been paid enormous amounts of money for the work that they've done in the MCU. And they've done great work. And I'm not begrudging them at all for making all the money and getting just bags of cash for being in these movies. That's great. But they did not have to make Black Widow. All right. They could have scrapped this along. I would have much rather them have scrapped this and done something new, instead of rehashing a character that no one really cares that much about anyway. I understand we all like Scarlett Johansson. I like her in the Avengers. I really have no interest in seeing a standalone Black Widow movie. When it comes on Disney Plus for free, then I'll watch it. I'm not going to the theaters to see it. I'm not paying $30 on Disney Plus to see it. And by the way, that's far different than what HBO Max is doing, when they were releasing all their big budget movies on HBO Max for free. I mean, because if you have HBO Max, you don't have to pay anything else. It's just a subscription for HBO Max because they're trying to sell HBO Max. Disney Plus is the largest growing and fastest growing streaming service out of all of them. They're going to be taking over where Netflix is now in a couple of years at this rate. I mean, they are by leaps and bounds ahead of where they thought they would be. And it's not because of Black Widow. All right, they're just trying to recoup some money on a movie they spent a shit ton of money on, and they're going to lose a shit ton of money. It's a failure. And it's not all Black Widow's fault. It's not all Scarlett Johansson's fault. None of that. It was just a bad idea from the jump. It's one of the MCU's first bad ideas. It really is. Like, why make this movie? Made no sense. And by this thing falling off like a son of a bitch. And look, it would help if Disney Plus would actually release the numbers as far as the Disney Plus buys for Black Widow. Because if you spend $30 on Black Widow, it's basically like you and a couple people going to the movies to see it, you know. And I'm guessing the numbers aren't that extravagant, or else they would have offered probably Scarlett Johansson more like, what she was trying to get behind the scenes. And they're like, you look, we released it on Disney Plus for $30, and not a lot of people are buying it. So we'll give you a piece of that, which isn't a lot. But it's extra. It's 20 million plus whatever, $50, a couple 100,000, whatever it was. She's probably wanting another 20 million and $30 million in bonuses, which is probably what she would have gotten if this was a $1 billion Captain Marvel movie, in which it is not. And it was never going to be. Even without COVID, it was never going to do that. With COVID, especially, it's not going to do. This is why I like this article. It's kind of giving you different people's takes that are actually involved in the situation. The fight is indicative of growing tensions between the creative community made up of actors, producers, writers, and major media conglomerates. As the industry becomes more consolidated and distribution models expand from traditional platforms such as television and movie theaters to streaming, talent fear their financial interest will be adversely affected. Well, the model's going to have to change. And this is absolutely correct. So your point system, your bonuses, this is what Scarlett Johansson's talking about, that's going to be adversely affected. All right, because how do you really calculate a bonus from something streaming? See, when an actor goes and does Netflix, they get paid up front, do whatever it is they're going to do, and Netflix pays you out the ass. So if Scarlett Johansson does a Netflix movie, she's going to make 25 million to do that movie, and it's done. She's not going to get points. She's not going to get bonuses. She's going to get paid one time, and that's it. And that's basically the case for everybody here, because everything's going to streaming. So all these actors who get points and all, that's going to go away. You're going to have to find other revenue streams, just like the music community had to. All of a sudden, bands, they got to find new ways to make money. They've paid Scarlett Johansson insane amounts of money. And weaponizing a $20 million paycheck, it's not weaponizing it. It's a great point. That's an insane amount of money to be in a movie that performs like shit. And to say that, oh, well, they cut the legs out from underneath it because you're charging $30 on Disney Plus, that's not kicking the legs out of anything. Now, if it was released for free, like HBO Max is doing, then I would be like, okay, you may have more of a point, and I can understand the lawsuit a little better, but I don't really get it right here. The rhetoric between Disney and Mrs. Johansson's camp became heated quickly. Miss Johansson's suit alleged that Disney Executive Chairman Robert Iger, Chief Executive Officer Bob Chapek, I think that's how you say it, were financially motivated to put Black Widow on Disney Plus because their bonuses are tied in part to the platform's performance. And it is outperforming all the numbers, as I said. It is outperforming everything. All right, and that's not because of Black Widow. I mean, how self-involved, how big of a freaking ego does Scarlett Johansson have to think that her movie is going to just bolster and send Disney Plus into the stratosphere as far as streaming numbers? That's ridiculous. They already have all the streaming numbers. They're doing huge numbers. And I guess she doesn't care if she comes back or not. Maybe she's just tired of doing the superhero thing. Because, the multiverse, you can bring anybody back. Maybe she's just like, yeah, I'm kind of done. And by the way, even though Disney's a gigantic company, you can make a lot of money on it. But now she's already got a ton of money. It's not like she needs their money. Except that she just wants one final little payday on the way out the door, make Disney look like shit. She can look like the good guy here. And I'm sorry, she doesn't. She looks like an idiot. That's just what you're in a failing movie. And you're trying to say, well, it's because Disney made it fail. Disney didn't come up with COVID-19. All right, they're trying to find ways to recoup the money. And from the way it sounds to me is that Disney Plus isn't exactly selling a shit ton of subscriptions based off of Black Widow. Nor are they getting a lot of people buying Black Widow on Disney Plus. That's probably why she got such a small offer from Disney on as far as the whole make good. The movie did pretty well in theaters for 1 week, opening week, and then it tanked. So apparently Disney Plus didn't kill opening weekend. That's another. Shouldn't it have killed the whole thing? But no, it opened up number one, did big money opening weekend, and then tanked completely, which has been pretty much every movie that's come out during the whole COVID-19 thing. Yeah, I just don't see how she wins this. How are you going to say that, oh, this movie would have been Captain Marvel as far as the success if Disney Plus didn't exist? They didn't put it on Disney Plus. How do you make that argument? I think she's wasting a lot of money doing this shit. Trying to get a few extra bucks. It's the dumbest thing she's ever done. It's the stupidest career move. And by the way, since all this crap went down, I've read a lot of articles, watched videos, everything else. And people are saying, well, everything's going to streaming, all these big stars, if Disney Plus pisses off Miss Johansson and pisses off some wrong people, how are they going to get stars to be in their movies? Well, they can make a star. They don't need you. I mean, who was Chris Evans before he got into the MCU? I mean, he was what? Fantastic Four, which we all kind of laugh at now. And maybe a few other movies here and there, but it wasn't like some big career. All right, Chris Hemsworth? I mean, I didn't know who the hell that guy was till he played Thor. Robert Downey Jr., his career was in the toilet. And all of a sudden, boom! I'm not saying he couldn't have. He would have made a comeback. He's been around forever, had a name. People love a comeback story. But this was the comeback of all comebacks because of the MCU. Jeremy Renner, good actor, but not a lot of people knew who he was until he started flinging those arrows at people. And yeah, Scarlett Johansson was a name when she got into the MCU. Keep in mind, she started about 2010 or so. So it's been a long time she's been in the MCU. But stop. Think about this for a second, guys. What was the big blockbuster she was known for before or since the MCU? I mean, what was the, $100 million, $200 million movie, let alone billion-dollar movie that she was in, and she carried it? She's been a really good actress. I've liked a lot of her movies, but I don't know. I know she's a superstar, but if you really think about the movies she's been in, are any of those your favorite movie? Outside of the MCU, are any of those your favorite movie, or even in your top 5 or 10 favorite movies? I guarantee you, most of the population of the world will say no. I mean, there's Lost in Translation, which is, hey, I like it a lot, man. It's probably somewhere in my top 50, maybe top 100, but really, really good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought she was really good. But keep in mind, that was 20 years ago. That was forever ago. He's Not That Into You, which was like a romantic comedy, but it had like everybody. Jennifer Aniston was in it. Uh, Jennifer Connelly was in it. Ben Affleck was in it. I mean, Bradley Cooper. Tons of freaking people. And it was a big ensemble cast. He did not carry that flick. But as far as something that is a Scarlett Johansson property, I don't know. To me, I think she has benefited way more for being in the MCU than the MCU has benefited from having her in it. Anyone could have played Black Widow. You could have had a ton of women play Black Widow. A ton. It doesn't require a lot. All right? She's been fine. She's been good. I enjoyed her in it. I appreciate what she put in there. But she's never made me feel a certain way about the character. I mean, when she's talking about, I got red in my ledger, I could give a shit. I didn't feel that. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe she felt bad for any of it. She just didn't make me feel that way. You know, Chris Evans, to his credit, I mean, there was a legit sadness in the eyes to him every time he played Captain America. Because there was a reason for him to be sad. He's a man out of time. Everyone he knew and loved were dead. So, you know, his America was gone. So there's that. There's that loss. There's that, you know, I wish I could have kissed the girl kind of thing. So everyone had something to really bring to it. You know, even Jeremy Renner, you know, I know it was all the way at Endgame, but you know, he lost his family. His whole freaking family were dusted. And he's off killing everybody, right? Just like, if my family's gone, you're going to be gone. Basically, is what he's telling all these criminals, right? I'm going to kill all of you. But there was a look to his face. You're like, ooh, I feel this dude. Damn, you know. I never got that with Scarlett Johansson. I'm not saying she's not capable of putting in a great performance. She has before. But in the MCU, to me, she was just been there. She did her part. And since she's a big star, they gave her her own movie. And it's underperformed, to say the least. Now, I know COVID, I know all that. This thing was never, that's what I'm saying. This thing was never going to make big money. This movie, it may, you know, you may break 400 million. Between 4 and 5, maybe. Just off of the name brand value of Marvel. That's it. And that's it if it got released last year without COVID. Waiting a whole year, it just kind of killed it. Because a lot of time these things, it helps to have that momentum. You know, it just does. And all the momentum was dead. She's just ungrateful for this position that she's been given to be in these Marvel movies. Make a shit ton of money. And then they put, you know, all this money into Black Widow, which they don't have to do. They give it the full Marvel treatment. This thing's a big budget movie. All right, they didn't give her a Disney Plus show. They gave her the whole freaking movie. And then all the COVID crap happens. All this crap happens. And you know it's going to cost the movie a ton of money. And instead of being grateful for the 20 million, be grateful that these people have supported you the whole way through the Marvel process and even given you a standalone movie. I mean, they're not giving Falcon and the Winter Soldier a standalone movie. They gave him a Disney Plus deal, right? They didn't give Jeremy Renner a standalone Hawkeye movie. No, they gave that to you. So instead of being grateful that you got something most of these actors involved in Marvel will never get, you decided to sue them for money that your movie would never earn. Just ridiculous. It's made me lose a lot of respect for Miss Johansson. Not that I had a ton to begin with. All right, she's an actress. I don't take them that seriously. I appreciate their work and their art. But I don't, you know, it's not like I care. I appreciate a good carpenter a hell of a lot more than a good actor. A good plumber. An AC. I live in Texas. I appreciate the AC techs. I don't appreciate the actors. Nowhere. I appreciate people who keep my house cool and keep my shit going through the pipes and out into the sewer. Okay, those are the people that I really appreciate, not some spoiled ass actress. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.